Today we're gonna do something different. We're gonna go back all the way back to the 1970s, the original movie Death Wish. You might not see the back of the cover, so that's hard to see in the shadows. Let me just move my arm out of the way. Here's the cover. I know it's hard to see, but we can get this over with. Basically, the story is plain and simple. It's about a young old man named Paul Carsey, a original, reasonable old man who cares about his wife and daughter, or they were living their usual, normal, everyday lives in New York City. But unfortunately, they got mugged and beaten up by a group of thugs had showed up in their own apartment.
In New York City, lights no.
And he becomes not only that a regular businessman, but a vigilante getting his revenge. The ones that torment his loved ones. And the police cannot help much, since it's up to him to gun down the ruthless hoodlums. And then getting information on where their whereabouts are. And not to mention there's like 4 of these movies.
I told Ives you'd come in this.
I hurried this up along, and not to make this review like almost 20 minutes longer.
Never seen you drink without eating. No.
Or he just acts like a normal being around people.
You ought to take care of it, see another dog. I did today.
But I gotta admit, Chris, Charles Bronson is a great actor playing and our main hero, Paul, all helping others in trouble and dire needs. And dangerous thugs I want to rob him blind, but it was smart enough and clever to deal with thieves like them. He does fight one off, and he starts to think what he has done. Not to mention there's a remake of this one with Bruce Willis. Anyways, he hits to the old side of the west side, and where people are doing a interesting movie role.
What do you got in mind to do then? Well, why don't you steal my horse? All right, that's a good trick. We'll use it. You spot yourself on the porch while I draw the marshal out through the open.
And I gotta admit, this is one of my favorite scenes of the movie.
What's the matter, fella? Somebody stole my horse.
If you love cowboys, this will make you chuckle.
Bay mare that was tied to the hitching rail. Saw a fella come and take her just a spell ago. Well, what did it look like?
I won't show too much of this movie. And like I said, I will not make this review like 20 minutes longer. Had to see it for yourself. Anyhow, I'll have to skip a few parts here and there. He does his target practicing to aim perfectly. And along with this reasonable man assisting him to aim perfectly at his targets. And yes, they live in New York City, where there's a bunch of actual crime afoot. Right on the movie, they don't know he also murders those other criminals in the film. Um, besides this movie I watched so long ago, when I was younger, it scarred me for life on how scary it got, and yet sad and yet funny at times. After watching this again, this is actually a worthy movie. I kind of like how he's using the posters of them having a great time at the beach, for all the wonderful times they had. And is a interesting moment for our main hero. And I actually like this scene here where they're gonna try to mug him. And he pulls a gun out. Most thugs carry knives and become very violent. Or pull a gun on him. But he acts quick. And tip of his toes. Yep, and I like the scene here how he has that emotional moment on what he has done, that he murdered a man. And the detective, Evan Inspector, tried to figure out what happened last night and who done it.
Two guys trying to heist each other. No, this man wasn't robbed. Still has money in his wallet.
Been stolen. And it's on the news and the papers. So he has to keep it a secret.
Okay, I'll run it for the board. They need your help. Okay. Oh, Tucson agreed with you. You look well. I feel good.
Very well, indeed. Anyhow, oh, I like this movie's locations and darker sides. It's for these other worthless goons would attack an innocent being, and it's up to him to do what he does best, shoot them. This movie is a work of genius of art, intentional entertainment. It's violent, it has swearing, it has sweet natural moments. You actually feel bad for the guy that he wants to live a normal life and try to keep his daughter safe from those heartless monsters that they have done to her. I like how he's the main focus throughout the entirety of the movie instead of somebody else that gets screen time, besides the commissioner and officers. And not to mention, you saw right there is product placement bubblegum. To be honest, I actually like this movie's characters. There's moment times. Not to mention on the back of the DVD, it has the famous actor, or Jeff Goldblum, as one of the thugs. And I gotta say, seeing him in this film is in the word in Irish, read the pot of gold. Ha ha ha. I kinda like the genius ideas how they made this film a bit more of the action and the violence, the shooting and killing. And I really love how the story is just plain and simple. Him, I'm taking out all the bad guys out one by one. And he's cunning, he's smart, he's actually a brilliant, total badass hero. Who's doing his best to save innocent lives. It's from actual crimingly robbers. And not to mention there's hot hookers in this movie too. Which I skipped. If you want to watch the entire movie for yourself, you might actually quite enjoy this one. It'll be worth your time for like a whole hour and 30 minutes. All I can say is, this movie is one of my most favorite 1974 films out there. It kept me on the edge of my seat on how much I want to see more of him kicking ass. It's so brilliant, and it's so exciting. I just wish other movies like these back in the day were that awesome. Nowadays we get like a bunch of remakes. Some of them are good, some of them are entirely pointless. But this one will always be on one of my most favorite ones of the list of the 1974 films of being most likely violent ones. So I had to give this movie an 8 out of 10 of great character developments. So I will not spoil too much throughout the entire movie, which I did. And I had to fast forward it to make this review like less than 13 minutes. So yeah, all I can say is this film will be worth your time. Even if you like watching violent films like these ones from the 1970s, you'll have a good time watching it. So thanks for watching, and I'm glad you saw half of this movie so far. We're gonna have to make this less than a couple of minutes shortly. Hey, I'll see you guys when I do the next video. Later on. So leave a like, subscribe, and comments and all that stuff like usual. And I'll catch you then in the next video. See ya!